Welcome back. And so, what am I saying? Ayola, what did you do to us? Producer Sunrise, Ayola Kasim. You have to put this. Wow.
Yeah.
But I think you're brave.
I've broken my own record. Having never touched a snake. This is beautiful.
It's an experience. It's an experience.
Wow.
It is. It is.
All right. So, I mean, the most powerful thing I've seen in this is the power of education. When I woke up this morning, I never thought I could touch a snake.
I have never thought I could
much
come
less
near
this
it. I've
kind
seen
of snake.
snakes and, but it's a good experience.
It feels good, doesn't it?
It is. I think we should give wildlife a chance.
Absolutely.
Okay, so thank you for the sunrise.
Thank you.
So we go to
our next topic, surviving internet scam. It's no longer news that the United States authorities have charged 80 people, most of them Nigerians, in a wide-ranging fraud and money laundering operation that netted millions of dollars from victims of internet con jobs.
You know, Kayode, when that news broke, I was thinking, I was having this argument, even though I have read a bit of it, and saying all of those 80 people or 88,
most of them, yes,
can't be Nigerians. They say yes, but wait for it. 77 of those people are Nigerians. Even though they've not been, convicted.
Yeah.
But how could we be on that list that much?
Well, a variety of reasons, and I guess we'll find answers
from our guests
to some of these from our guests. We have Mr. Shalom Dixon. He's to my right here. Thank you for joining us on the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, we also have Mr. Chibike Good News, a cybersecurity expert, and Mr. Adedayo Adesoya, ethical hacker.
Yeah,
I believe he's going to be joining us later in the conversation. So, all right, you're an the ethical techpreneur.
Yeah, that one.
All right, so I don't want to start with the issue of how Nigerians got so up there in the numbers, but definitely a lot of cyber activities going on in Nigeria. What's feeding this?
Okay, so it's not news. Okay, these things aren't just coming up. I was having a discussion with him earlier, and this has majority of these people, if you look at them, they are above 30, somewhat. So these are people who must have been doing this for a very long time. They're not just starting out. So it's just that sometimes
they haven't been convicted. So
yeah, okay, we're accused. Yes. We're accused, right? Okay. So the thing is this: there is a social role in all of this, where as a society we kind of encourage some of these cultures, some of these habits. Okay, so we would like to think that it's binary, right? Fraudsters and non-fraudsters, but it's not. It's a spectrum. We have the people who commit the crime, the people who benefit from the crime, the people who condone the crime, right? And the people who sympathize with them. We have that kind of spectrum. And if you ask me, I would say, by the time we consider it that way, we would see that a lot of us will find one point of guilt or another, a lot of people. So we have to actually, as a society, say, okay, these crimes are real. We do not hurt the nation by admitting that. We hurt the nation by not drawing the line. So the reason I would say Nigeria is up there is because, number one, Nigerians are very ambitious people. I've been with other Africans, like other African countries, and I can show Nigerians are very ambitious people. So we have to find the right way to channel that ambition. But we have to draw this line so that the next generation, people growing up, they do not count this as an option. So right now, they just see like, okay, look at all over the internet, people are flaunting wealth that, they're from questionable sources, people are sympathizing with them, people are hailing them, oh, God, chairman, all of those stuff. So we have to actually draw that line and make it known.
All right. Let me go to Mr. Chibike Good News. You're a cybersecurity expert. The fact that we see people who are benefiting in the interim from cybercrime means that there are people who are victims of these activities. What is making people... So it's a social problem. What's making people susceptible to these crimes, despite the fact that they can see that these things are real?
First of all, I want to condemn the crime, condemn internet fraud, condemn business email compromise, and condemn this act. It's totally unacceptable.
Which act are you condemning?
This fraud, internet fraud.
Okay.
It's totally unacceptable, totally shaming and damning. And then, back to your question. People being susceptible to that are open-minded people, feeble-minded people, and not being security conscious is not a guilt, and being security conscious is as much as your knowledge can carry you. Because the people that are perpetrating this crime are more than average intelligent people. They are highly intelligent people, they are highly planned, and they are highly logical. And believe you me, intelligence, if used properly, is good. But when intelligence is used improperly, they beat the expectation of unexpected people. Because until you know somebody is coming with a gun to your house, that's when you prepare. But when you feel that you didn't hurt anyone, you didn't do anything, and you're doing your life normally, you become susceptible. So a whole lot of people on the internet, or a whole lot of people are doing things without fear, without expectation that this thing will happen. So when they are busy minding their business, the fraudsters are busy making their own business their own. So they see a lot of loopholes in the way we do things, in the way we exchange emails, the way we do financial transactions, and they capitalize on that to do fraud.
Okay, I think Adedayo Adesonya, ethical hacker, I think he's ready. Thank you so much, Adedayo, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So let's talk about this. He was talking about, what makes people susceptible to, internet scam. Can you tell us more about this and how, as individuals, organizations, how we can take care of this?
Honestly, I'll come back to the basic issue of the society. It's all from the society because we have made certain things the norm. Can you hear me?
Absolutely, yes. Please go ahead.
Okay. All right. So we have made certain things the norm. The government institutions that are meant to be doing their, duties in certain areas have neglected Nigeria to continue to rot. First things first, the things that you think about every day, the things that you dip yourself in, they would be the norm after some time. The young people nowadays see no wrong in fraud. And the degree to which these criminals get sympathy from young ones is alarming. From the songs that are being played, there's no measure of censoring anymore out there. They're glorifying this thing. So these young people find it as a norm. So when somebody comes to recruit them, they're very quick to jump on it. So I think that, coming back to the fact that some Nigerians are skillful, if you put the knife in the hands of a thief, or let's put a gun in the hands of a thief, he will use it the wrong way. But if you put a gun in the hands of an educated man, he will use it to protect people. So these skills, apart from the fact that they're in the wrong hands, our community, our government is not doing well enough to make sure that young people don't fall into that ditch again. One thing I've been speaking to people all over, there was this police conference that we had sometime last year, and I was asking a question. These cyber criminals that are being, detained and convicted in Nigeria, what is the plan for them? Is there any plan to rehabilitate them and begin to use their skills positively so they don't come back even more hardened and creating a bigger circle? So again, like the last speaker said, I don't think that it's a crime not to be too secure. You only can go as far as you know. So I honestly don't. This is really, really shameful. It is really, really a setback for all Nigerians, all young Nigerians who are striving to do the best in their own areas. To make sure that
let me come in here. I know that all of these people that have been mentioned in this fraud, they are still innocent until proven guilty. And I'm not sure, even if they are found guilty, they represent a whole lot of, other hardworking Nigerians. But now let's talk about how we can protect ourselves on the internet in terms of not falling victims to some of this fraud that we talk about. And remember the last time we had a conversation on this internet issue, you mentioned the FaceTime thing. So let's talk about some of the things that we need to do to protect ourselves.
Yes, okay, so to protect yourselves, ignore emails from strange people. Do not be greedy. If it looks too good to be true, then it is too good to be true. Phishing scams are everywhere. This is what they use the most, phishing and social engineering. And what is phishing? They just mirror the real website that they mirror it, and they put a link in your email. And once you click that link, you get to that website that looks like the normal website that you use, be it your banking website. It looks exactly like it. It takes them less than 1 minute to create it. You put in your details, and then it gives you an error like the bank has an issue, but your details has been supplied already. So ignore those links. One, ignore any emails that do not even reply them, say that they're stupid, because they will know that your email is active.
All right. Adedayo, just hold your thoughts. We'll still come back to you, but we'll go on this very quick break. We'll be back. Welcome back. Let me come to you. Adedayo was telling us some of the things that we need to do, which includes that we shouldn't just respond to emails, particularly suspicious ones. What more would you add?
Okay, so I'd like to compartmentalize this and say, okay, how do we protect our image and how do we protect ourselves from being victims to these crimes? So let me start from the image. So first of all, like I said, let us denounce these people. Let us make a statement that we are not a part of them. So let it be clear that there are genuine Nigerians doing genuine business. That will help protect our image. Also, we can have to do business around some verified platforms. So when people come to you and say, okay, claim that they do this, they do that, this is one way innovation can help solve this problem. We have platforms for verification through which people do business. This will also help protect Nigerians and foreigners as well. Then also for foreigners, I would say try to do your findings about Africa, about Nigeria. There was a case I had an experience with a person who was bragging online that he's pretty rich because he has some dollars from some prince from somewhere. It wasn't a Nigerian prince this time, from somewhere. But the thing is, he said he had dollars of that country. Like, he referred to the country's currency as dollars.
He posted that online.
Yes, we were just talking and he was bragging that, in fact, I have money because some prince is going to give me his inheritance. And just an internet search would have proved that that country does not use the dollars, right? So simple things like that. Then, of course, not giving up information before you have confirmations. And one of the things that make people susceptible to social engineering is that at some points, each one of us, we are all vulnerable. It could be something, maybe you just had a heartbreak and you are vulnerable to some. If you notice it sometimes, some kind of things you do not feel sympathetic to. Depending on your situation, how you feel at that moment, you could feel sympathetic to that. So people are vulnerable. Social engineers, they know this. They know that people forget things. They know that when you give someone a call and they are just waking up, if you are unlucky or they are unlucky, they are just waking up, they could give you some valuable information. So try as much as possible to have this framework through which you think and rethink the decisions you want to make. That, okay, this amount of money, is this real? Does this deal work? Okay, I want this thing very badly, but how much can I investigate? So someone asked me, said, Shalom, so what you are trying to tell me now is that if I'm trying to invest, or someone is trying to invest in your company and they are a cyber crime perpetrator, now, would you collect that money? I said, of course I would not collect the money. Like, what are you even thinking? How would you even ask me these questions? I would not. It's not an ethical dilemma. I would not. So we need to be able to say, okay, let us make those investigations as much as possible, make those confirmations before we engage in any activities.
Let me add to that.
All right.
You see, in the process of protecting ourselves, the sites we visit and the things we do on the internet we should also be wary of it. You know, there are some basic things when you are exchanging values on the internet and you're looking at a site that it doesn't have that HTTPS certificate. You should be careful about that.
Can you repeat that part?
HTTPS.
Okay.
So it's
HTTPS.
yeah, it's confirmed.
Sometimes you see the HTTP without the S.
that means it's not
Yeah, it's
secure.
not secure.
Okay.
So for some browsers,
Right, I think we need to stress that. Say it again.
HTTPS. So when you're browsing a site and you want to do a transaction on that site, ensure that site has HTTPS. HTTPS, it means Hypertext Protocol Certificate. Now, it helps to secure that site and make sure that every transaction that is being done there, it's secured. And if there's any fraudulent thing that's committed there, it can trace the issuer of the certificate. And you can also trace the people that earned that certificate. So you'll be able to know who did that. And also, on the internet, you don't exchange sensitive information. Though the social media has made it difficult now.
I was just thinking now, because there are times that, you are on a site that you believe is, safe enough.
Secured.
And then that same site links you to another site. Should I, be rest assured that I'm still in good hands? Like links.
Yeah, if it links you to another site, you still check if the site is secured and also ask what information is the site asking of. Because although the social media has made it quite difficult quite easy for fraudsters to collate information and make something out of it, but sensitive information, once you see that that site is suspicious, you pull out immediately. There are some browsers that tell you...
What do you see that tells you, that this site is suspicious, apart from this HTTPS that you mentioned?
Apart from HTTPS that you mentioned, you look at the reputation of the site. You look at the design.
Reputation, design in terms of what?
Yeah, some of these fraudsters, they always have some flaws in the way they do things. They don't go into so much details in buildings. If they are replicating a site, they are replicating only that aspect that is going to give them the information they need, which is your login details. Now, if you are you're on a company site, and it's directing you to another site, and discover that all the other links there are dead, you know that's a civet. That's a very strong red flag. Or you move from another site to another one, and you discover that most of the things on that site are gone. On the former site are gone. The team is gone. Every other thing is gone. You know that you're going from a safe place to an unsafe place. Also, people should always have antivirus in their system. So there's the internet antivirus that when you move from a safe site to a non-safe site, it tells you that this site is not safe.
But we hear these days that with the newer versions of the operating systems, like Windows 10 and all of that, you do not need antivirus. How true is that?
In Nigeria, many people don't pay for that newer version. Most people have cracked systems, so they still use the cracked version. So if you know you didn't buy the genuine product, you didn't buy the genuine Microsoft Word, better use antivirus.
Let me go to Adedayo. We have talked about the use of apps in our discussions previously, and you just go on online. Oh, this app is raining. You join in the bandwagon, and then your information is out there. Tell us more about this and further ways of ensuring that our information are safe online.
Yeah, so let me just quickly touch base with what the last speaker said about HTTPS. This is true, but it also wouldn't take a hacker up to $15 or $20 to put up a HTTPS site as well. So that's not exactly going to keep you safe if you think just HTTPS. I can put a secure site as well out there to make sure that you feel secure. But what he said that is also true is the fact that you need to look into details. These hackers or these scammers, they don't go into details when they're putting stuff out on the website. When you look at their website address, If you look at a bank, www.bank.com, they try to replicate that bank's website address and they put www.bank1.com. But you are too excited to look at that address, so you will miss that. Going back to the apps that you just asked, what kind of apps are you using? The apps that can actually really keep you vulnerable are those apps that are free. Some free apps are good, but some of them are looking to harvest your data and then to sell them out to hackers. So we also need to be wary and be careful of the kind of apps that we download. One thing you should do as well is to make sure that you read reviews of that app before you download the app. Read reviews, because people will always put their honest opinions about these apps out there. In the long run as well, greed is the major reason for falling victims. If you are not greedy, if this deal is not yours, you know nothing about it, somebody is just promising you 20 million naira, please stay away from it. So those are the basic things I think we can continue to do.
All right. Let me also ask you, you're an ethical hacker. I read a report recently that says that these things have become so commonplace that even as simple as with a USB charger, borrowing a USB charger, you could be hacked. How widespread is this, and what do people need to do? What do they need to know, and what do they need to do?
Thank you very much. So using a USB charger is harmless. I don't think that's what we're trying to, So what I think is the issue is, these parties that you go to or these conferences that you go to, and then they give you free USB devices as souvenirs, and you don't get to format them first before using them. Many of them have been pre-installed with applications that are going to be calling home every time they connect it to your computer. Many of them already have what we call keyloggers. Keyloggers are going to record every key that you type on your computer, what website you were on when you typed it, which one was the username, which was the password, you send them back home. So you have to be careful when you pick up, free devices as well. So I think that's what you're trying to talk about. A cable has nothing to, the cable is just a cable. It's not harmful, except it's connected to a phone or a device.
Okay, so free Wi-Fi, free, free. You can connect to Wi-Fi. You get to a particular place, connect to Wi-Fi. You travel abroad, connect to Wi-Fi. How often should we connect to such Wi-Fis?
Well, I would use free Wi-Fi if I have to use free Wi-Fi, right? The thing about these things is this. So while we are trying to be cautious, we should not be too scared. So we have to be cautious with knowledge. So
shouldn't become paranoid.
Yes. So when we become paranoid, like, oh, can I do this? Can I do that? Because the thing is, and why crime is being enabled by technology is that there's an incentive for technology to spread, for technology to grow, for us to adopt technology. Okay, so he was talking about someone gives you a free USB device. Like, you want to use that can help you save your data. That's why you are using it. Free Wi-Fi on the street, you need that. Someone wants to stream this live, they need that. So we'll not go out and say, okay, don't use free Wi-Fi, don't use technology.
So what should you do if you use free Wi-Fi?
Yeah. So if you use free Wi-Fi, right? If it's these ones that have been supplied by, say, Facebook and the rest by the expressways, those ones are fairly safe compared to something that is being turned on by someone else, like a random person. So, but these can still be hacked, right? These can still be hacked. If you are signed into a joint network, it can still be hacked.
All right. So, let me quickly ask.
But let me add to that.
Before you answer, can you rely on your instinct?
Okay.
Sometimes, maybe something just feels like I shouldn't connect. Is it useful, even though you don't have a scientific reason to connect?
Yes, you can rely on your instinct. Connection is a decision you made. If you need it, you connect. But if you don't need it, you don't connect. And when you have decided to connect to it, you know that you are susceptible. So you make provisions to guide yourself against that. And what I was about to say is that everybody that is using the internet or any device, you have the authority of the last mile check. what I call last mile check is before a conversation or before a transaction is made, there is that last mile check. Your banks will do two-factor authentication. Your emails will do two-factor authentication. Some of the applications on the internet that are genuine will eventually do two-factor authentication. Some of the two-factor authentication means sending a code to your phone where you implement that,
I see.
or sending something to your email where you have to click to verify, and all those things. People shouldn't be scared of doing those things. Implement all those things on your process of doing things. So that even if somebody has compromised your login details or compromised your device or anything, that two-factor authentication will always let you know. You know, my email address, even me, if I log in from an unknown device or a new location, it sends a mail and also asks for two-factor authentication. And
so about the instincts, right? Sorry, about
very quickly, yes.
Yeah, the instinct is that's a very beautiful question. Now, the human mind works in such a way that a lot of information that we perceive, we cannot process all of that. So your instinct is actually telling you have done that math that you are not conscious of right now, and this is risky.
All
so
right.
Follow your instinct.
All right, I guess that's a beautiful way to put it, to leave it. Gentlemen, thank you for being part of this all-important conversation. We've had Shalom Dixon, a techpreneur to my right here, Mr. Chibuike Good News, cyber security expert, and joining us from Texas, United States of America, Adedayo Adesanya. Thank you, gentlemen, for being part of this conversation. In a bit, we'll take a break, and we'll be back for the home run. Join us again.